Welcome to Forbidden Planet TV. This is Fabian Nicieza.
I'm
I'm Andrew
back.
Sumner, and Fabian is back. How have you been doing since I last saw you, mate?
It's been great since the last time we talked. Everything's been kind of fun.
Yeah.
Percolating a new book, which is not easy to do, and percolating the second arc of an Image comic, which is not easy to do.
And as luck would have it, these are the very two things that I would like to talk to you about. So your image book, the first series of which is just about to hit as a collection,
Yep.
is the Free Agents, co-created with Kurt Busiek, if I'm right. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So how did this book come to be, and what can you tell me about it, mate?
The book started when I got a call from Kurt several years ago, and he had been percolating and planning a kind of an Image Kurt Busiek launch, Kurt Busiek universe launch, because the rights to the publish all of his different creator-owned stuff had been consolidated with him again, and he was going to be able to bring all of that to Image. And he wanted to develop a concept he had called Free Agents with me to turn it into an ongoing series. Um, and I was more than interested in it because it's Kurt. We've been friends for 30 years. We don't always see eye to eye when we're writing, which actually makes for more fun writing because we don't not see eye to eye to the point of fisticuffs. It's just a matter of finding that track, which works well when you're co-writing with someone that respects you and you respect them. So I said, yeah, I would do it. It's taken a long time to get that first arc out, and as a result, the whole thing sort of kind of evolved at a time that the industry was evolving as well. So the first arc came out. It got better as it went along. I don't think the first two issues are as strong, but if you read the trade paperback, which is either in stores now or should be in stores really soon, it's Free Agents after the war was over with a great cover by Stephen Mooney, our artist. Um, you'll see how this is all developing, and it developed strongly enough to the point where we want to do a second arc. And that's what we're working on now. Steven's already drawn the first issue of the second arc, which will probably be issue number 8. I don't know that we're going to do volume 2, number 1 again. I
Yeah.
don't know. That'll be an Image decision as much as anything, I think. But I'm a lot happier with where it is right now than I kind of was while we were doing the first arc. It's interesting when you're working on a creative thing that takes a long time to gel and percolate. Even any team books I've ever written, of which I've written one or two, I think, in my career, you regret that you can't go back in time and redo it because you really start to know the characters better. You start to see how they interact as you go along better. It's almost like a sitcom. Watch any successful sitcom, and you'll see, as the writers saw, which actors are working best with which actors, which characters are playing better against each other, and the show starts to groom itself and tailor itself towards those strengths.
Yeah.
And I think that in the very first arc of Free Agents, you see that happening. And now that I'm working on the third issue of the second arc, boom, there it is. Like I'm so much more comfortable and confident with who we are and where we're at. And Stevens even responded saying, this is tight. This is clicking because we know who these guys are now. So
Yeah.
it's good. I'm enjoying it. I wish that the process had been faster. There's a lot of reasons why it wasn't, but I wish that the process had been faster so that we could have ramped up faster, gotten things out sooner, gotten things out more consistently. But the second arc's being worked on now. It'll probably be launching very early 2027. I don't want to give a month because that's difficult to do. But
Yeah.
Steven's working on the second issue now, and the first issue's already done, and Triona Farrell is coloring it. So we're moving through.
Yeah. For people who haven't sampled it this far, can you give more of a flavor of the concept, mate?
The concept is a group of young interdimensional soldiers from different planets on different dimensions who have been fighting a forever war. against a conqueror named Escandir the Argive, and Escandir has conquered hundreds of dimensions, and it's just insatiable lust for conquering. That's all. It's like he's into conquering. He likes it. And as a result of a battle in null space, an area called the Fire Break, the team, which is called Breakpoint 10, because that was the station they were on. Their commander Barrage basically sacrificed himself to create a firewall that prevented our guy from getting out. That cast the soldiers out, and they ended up on Earth. They basically landed on Earth, as it were. And now here they are. They're all between like the ages of 17, 18, and 24, roughly, right? And they don't have to fight, and they've never not fought their entire lives. So the question is, who are they going to be? And right before they get a chance to determine that, Barrage shows up alive, and he is ready to keep them fighting, even if there's nothing to fight against. That's the question. So ultimately, the whole concept of free agents is they fought a war forever. Now they have to fight a war against themselves, and that's kind of where we're at.
Great stuff, mate. Brilliant. Well, I'm glad that you're getting into the process of it and you're enjoying it more as you go along. That's a gift, isn't it? To be able
Yeah,
to.
yes, it is. It is fun. Although because our industry is where it's at right now, it's really hard. You can never have the confidence that you'll have sales that warrant continuing, right?
Yeah.
You just don't know, right? So part of it is wonderful to feel better about your book at issue 8 than you did at issue 2, right? That's good because that's clear sign of growth and improvement and contentment with the content and all that stuff. The other side of the coin is, just as you're really thinking you're kicking ass and you're polishing your future Eisner Award, your sales aren't good enough accordingly to have an issue 13, 14, 15, 16,
Yeah.
So it's a catch 22. I think a lot of us, myself especially, because I've kind of been on the side edge of comic books for a while now. I just like to enjoy what I'm working on now. I
Yeah.
can't worry that much about sales. I can't worry that much about the future or the past. I just want to enjoy what I'm doing now. And right now, I'm enjoying working on free agents with Kurt and Steven a lot.
That is brilliant, mate. And as ever, you can order regular issues of the free agents and the volume 1 collection from the links attached to our conversation right below us, right
They're
here,
always right below us.
right below us.
They're not, I'm right below you. The link is right below me, right? Is that how it
Right
is?
on. Yeah.
Is
We
this how
might
it's going to appear?
we might even be side by side when this
Oh,
actually
see, now
goes
that
through.
throws everything off. So
Yeah.
should I point this way and you point
I
that
think
way
a bit
there?
of that, yeah. And then on this very same note, the note of writerly satisfaction, um, you wrote 2 great novels that I love and that we published in the UK at Titan Books. Um, the Self-Made Widow, which is actually book 2, yeah,
Yep.
and mate,
Suburban
fucking
Dicks.
yeah, Suburban
Subur
Dicks, yeah,
Suburban
yeah,
Dicks.
yeah.
You remember the self-made
I
widow
remember the
title, but you
self-made winner.
forget
Couldn't remember the I couldn't remember the overall
Suburban
title.
Dicks.
Yeah, I'm gonna I was almost gonna do a retake on that, but I'm not. Of course, you know that I know this title, and I love it. I love those 2 books, and actually, you've got a third novel project that you're working on at the moment, right, mate?
Yes.
That's your main focus for the time being.
Yeah, the first 2 books were basically a brand new book and a sequel to it. With same character cast, same location, all of that, 2 different murder mysteries. This new book is something completely different for a completely new publisher, different editor. So I'm really looking forward to it because it's kind of like a bit of a fresh start because there was some disappointment with how the second book sold and some disappointment with how the publisher handled it.
Yeah,
And it took me a few years um, of both jumping down the wrong rabbit holes or being guided to the wrong rabbit holes that prevented me from getting a third book. into a position or into a place where a publisher would be interested in publishing it.
Yeah.
But that just happened over the last 8 months. Publisher at St. Martin's Press, who was one of the editors who originally wanted to buy Suburban Dicks years ago, encouraged me to continue working with him, pitch some ideas, and he saw an idea he really thought was worth developing, and that was the Sin Puppet. So we signed the contract literally just like about a month ago. We signed the contract, and I'm in the process right now of breaking it down. Like many of my book ideas, it seems to be a very old idea I had that I either percolated for a long time or didn't percolate, but the idea was always there. Sin Puppet slightly falls into the latter category. It was originally a comic book pitch for Epic Comics in like 1988, 89. But it never happened for a variety of reasons. But the concept was always sound. And I think the concept's even better now because the editor at St. Martin's, Michael Holmler, really bounced some very good feedback off me. It's really good when you can have an editorial process that they're helping you, they're enhancing you. They don't always just say yes, and they don't always
Yeah.
just say no, right? And that's what I love most when an editor does that, because I'm fine getting smacked in the head. I'm fine being told no. I like to be told no. How about this?
Yeah.
And what originally had a bit of a supernatural bent to the story premise now has a more of a tech-based bent to the story premise, but the story itself is the same, and the themes are the same, and the character is the same. So the basic hook is there's a guy who's in his late 30s named Grissom Vandermeer. He's a doctorate in neuroscience. He lost his memories at age 16 in a car accident, and he has no memories of his life of his life before that. He lost his parents and he lost his sister in the car accident, and his entire life has been kind of spent in the scientific pursuit of finding a way to reclaim those memories for himself, but it would be a benefit to many others. And so we're talking about a book that's probably just like in the nearish future. I'm not saying what the date it is, what year it is, but it's a couple of years away from now. Just to be able to play fast and loose
So
with the science,
the near
because I'm not a
adjacent future.
scientist and I'm not a neuroscientist. I'm a comic book writer. Damn it! So he creates us technology that will allow you to find, digitize, and store your memories. So you can actually end up having the equivalent of an Instagram or a Pinterest page for your memories, and they can be visual, they can be auditory, they can be olfactory, even, because that's how we process memory, right? And even down to taste, but I'm not going that far. So they're not allowing him to use it yet, or to experiment on it yet, because it's still too risky for the human mind. And he decides to experiment on himself. And at the time that he experiments on himself, there's a bit of a surge to the entire system, and the memories are located and retrieved, but they're not in him anymore. They're not, so they went out somewhere. And what he learns is that his memories ended up in all the town people in the small town he lives in. Picture it like a Stephen King fictional town. It's
Yeah.
called Ebencross, Pennsylvania. Anybody who is on a digital platform, on a laptop, on headphones, on anything, has received one of his memories, and they become echo chambers in in the people who have them. And what Grissom doesn't know and didn't know is that he was an absolute piece of shit of a human being before he was 16 years old. And between like the ages of 12 and 16, he did a lot of shit with some bad people. And those are the memories that are now echoing in people's minds in the town. So he realizes that he can retrieve them, take them away from, I can get them from you. I can spare you that shit in your head, but I'm restoring that shit into me again. and as a result of this escalation of what's going on in his town, he has to take more and more of the bad in him. And how is that going to change him from being a good person, which he has been for years, to the original version of him? So it's a psychological thriller, that is really kind of about, who are we? Are we who we are, or are we who we were? Like, ultimately, like, can we change? And should it take traumatic brain injury and amnesia to make us change? And so it's got a lot of horror elements, but it's all horror based on human psychosis. The excessive human nature amplified, and having to be accepted back into the source, who is the main character.
That sounds phenomenal, mate. What a great concept. And the fact that you've had a version of it for
This is the
such a
first time I've
long.
really talked about it. So by the time it comes out, I'll have the bullet points down pat, and I'll be able to hook it real quick for you, Andrew. Right now, it's just me babbling.
Well, I love it. I mean, and it sounds intriguing. It sounded like a very natural piece of storytelling coming out of you, And when is the book
The book,
scheduled to publish?
there's no
No
release date
date on
yet.
it. Yeah.
I don't have to have it written till next March.
Wow.
So
Okay. So
based,
yeah,
how book publishing goes, it's
I
a
do.
forever
Yeah.
schedule. So I can't say whether it'll probably be out in 2027, but I just don't know when yet.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
is from St. Martin's Press.
Yeah.
And it'll either be called The Sin Puppet, or I'm gonna make it plural and call it The Sin Puppets. I don't know
Yeah.
yet.
Right on.
But it will be one of those two, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Mate, I can't wait. And continue to know that both of your Suburban Dicks books, Suburban Dicks itself and The Self-Made Widow, they were two great reads. And I think your particular voice and your particular talent really transfers very nicely into the prose novel form.
Thank you.
So I just can't wait to read this, mate.
I can't
I,
wait to write it. I'm really looking forward to the actual typing of the
yeah,
book. The chapter breakdown right now is kicking me in the nuts, but I'm really looking
yeah,
forward to just getting into them, getting into the character, getting into the fictional world. My previous books were set in the real world, literally the town I live in. So the bagel shop was the one right down the street from me. You know what I mean? It
yeah.
made it a lot easier in a lot of ways, to do it that way. But the other part of me is kind of looking forward to the challenge of creating a believable fictional town with believable fictional residents in it, all of that stuff. So and then just blow the shit up and tear it all apart. That's the part I'm looking forward to.
Excellent, mate. My final question for you, as I say, I just can't wait for that book. My final question for you, I've just realised that we haven't spoken since the massive success of Deadpool and Wolverine last year. How did that feel, watching that happen with your relationship with the character?
My standard answer is I love it when they make a Deadpool movie because I get a bigger check at the end of the year. So I was thrilled when they made a Deadpool movie because I got a bigger check at the end of the year. I would prefer if Ryan not wait 8 years between movies. I would like at least a Deadpool movie a month. That would be
Yeah.
fun. I was very pleasantly surprised by the third movie because I was very worried about it going in.
Yeah.
I was worried that it was going to be too much of everything and a little bit of a cluster F. And it was too much of everything, but they did such a great job of taking it. Every time they did this, they boiled it back down to this, the two of them in a car, the two of them in a diner, and those moments in the movie really, really just worked. They did it, so it was a really good character driven explosive escapade, and I was pleased and I was glad about the success. Obviously, I just want Ryan to make more Deadpool movies faster. That's all. Ultimately, that's all. I'm not asking for too much.
You really aren't.
I'm really not. I
I
mean, he
think that
doesn't
is
even have
very
to
well
be in a
said.
suit anymore, for crying out loud. He could have anybody in the suit. Just loop the voice and you're
Yeah.
fine, good to go. A movie a month, Ryan.
That's all Fabian's asking for.
He already has his soccer team. I would like a chance to buy a soccer team. If he made a movie a month, I'm a little closer to that possibility.
Well, mate, I think that's a lovely answer, and I wholeheartedly concur. I was also fearful that a third Deadpool movie might be too much. Where could they go with it? And as you say, you had the kitchen sink flying past you at that screen, but the human moments are the key, really, and that's why
Yeah,
I'm
and
sure
they
it was
and
a success
obviously
that it was.
I think the human moments were resonated with pretty much everyone in the audience, even people who just want to see 100 Deadpools getting stabbed, whatever. Like those
Yeah,
are the scenes that interested me the least. What interested
yeah.
me the most was Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds inside a car, and I mean, it was so well done. I turned to my wife during the premiere in New York. I go, Hugh is acting his ass off. And she doesn't care about these kinds of movies at all. And she goes, yeah, he is. Like, he was really getting into this. Good job.
Yeah, that is so true. So, mate, lovely to see you as always.
Great to see you too, Andrew.
And that the free agents can be ordered from the links attached to our conversation, wherever the
Attached,
links end up
wherever the
being.
links are after the war was over, is volume one of Free Agents. It compiles issues 1 through 7 and has an extensive back matter with Stephen Mooney's original character design and sketches, our original Bible in it. So it's got a lot of nice back stuff as well as the 7 issues from the first arc of the book.
Brilliant, mate. And I can't wait to read The Sin Puppet when it's with us. And I'm prepared to wait until it is. So,
All right,
I'm
don't put
looking
pressure on
forward
me
to
because I haven't even written page 1 yet. Okay.
that. Okay, brother. Okay. It's great to see you, Fabian.
It's
You
great to
take
see
care of
you too.
yourself. Cheers,
Take
mate.
care. Bye bye.
Bye. If you're enjoying watching Forbidden Planet TV and you're enjoying watching us talk to the world's most interesting and accomplished filmmakers, authors, artists, musicians, creators, subscribe right here. See you soon.